Okay, very good. So overview of the traineeship. This traineeship is open to anyone who has a university degree, and there is no specific age limit. So you can be 23, you can be 30. Actually, the more experience you have, the more likely you are to be selected. There are different areas you can work on, such as justice, foreign and economic affairs. Adrian already sort of went over this to tell you the different kind of profiles. Now, specifically for the traineeship at the council, they have 2 rounds which open each year. The current round, which closes now on March 14th, only has 50 places available for a paid traineeship. But of course, if you're not successful the first time, then you can apply for the second time. This is a paid traineeship, so you have a living allowance of 1,376 per month, and you also have, in this case, for this particular traineeship, you also have 60 euros allowance for the council canteen, and if I may say so myself, it's one of the best in Brussels. And you also have some other allowances like travel allowances, etc. And as we're saying before, it is a great starting point for a new career and to boost your CV. Okay, so overall, some of the benefits, we've already been through these, but of course, first of all, it's a paid experience. Yes, it might not be as much, but of course, it's a traineeship ultimately, but it's a very good stepping stone to work in the institutions. Ultimately, this can be your way into the Brussels bubble, as we call it, as Mr. Mifsud was very rightly so saying. Once you get that sort of experience, working within the institutions, then you become a more sought after candidate, even at the national level. So let's say that after your traineeship, you wish to return back to Malta and you apply for a position with the Maltese Civil Service, you already know the workings of the institutions, dynamics of it. So that is definitely a plus. You build a strong network of professionals, so that is very important, even going forward in your career. And I think what's something very crucial is the working experience. So, as Adrian was saying, you also get the opportunity to participate in the European Council, which happens roughly 3 to 4 times a year. So that's also very interesting. And we'll go into also the tasks that you can do as a trainee. And more specifically, you also have benefits such as vacation leave, travel costs, medical, etc. So there are a number of benefits, if we say so. And also, there are a number of courses that you can follow and a number of workshops that they deliver specifically for trainees within the council. So what type of work can you expect when you are a trainee with the General Secretariat of the Council? So pretty much there is preparing meetings and draft minutes, attending meetings of the council preparatory bodies such as working parties, co-reper. These are all terms which I'm saying that you should start familiarizing yourself with, especially if you're planning to apply for a traineeship at the council. Researching on a particular project if you're within a specific department. If you're applying for a translation traineeship, then would be translating of documents, and also working on internal and external communication projects. Of course, the council does a lot of work when it comes to communication, so this is also part of it. So all the information which I am saying is already available, and it's all on this website. So if you just Google traineeships at the General Secretariat of the Council or traineeships at the EU Council, this will pop up and you will find everything. So the application procedure and whatnot. So all information is there. What we're doing here today is trying to simplify it, and if you have any questions, just let us know. So we start with the eligibility requirements. So first of all, you must be an EU citizen. You must have a university degree of at least 3 years. In the case of Maltese, due to the University of Malta, in our case, if you're in your final year of studies, it might be tricky to apply for this traineeship. So it might be best if you apply after you have finished your degree. So you have the certificate in hand, and then this application will open again in September, August, and then I would recommend that you apply then. Have very good knowledge of 2 EU official languages, one of which must be English or French. The more the merrier, and I'll get into this later on. And also no prior experience in excess of 6 weeks, as I was saying earlier. So if you did a job shadowing experience of less than 6 weeks, that is perfectly fine. You are still eligible to apply. Also, if you have an ongoing application, I know at the moment there is the Blue Book traineeship, that's not an issue. You can have multiple applications going on at the same time. The only issue is that once you agree for one traineeship, then automatically you are no longer eligible for the other traineeships that you have applied for. So be careful also when you get to the offer stage if you are successful. So types of profiles, there are many, many, many profiles to choose from. There's foreign affairs, you can work on UN affairs, the enlargement, as you know, at the moment, there's a lot of work going on enlargement, ICT, so service management, knowledge management, etc. Economic and financial affairs, trades, competition, internal market, communications, they do a lot of work on communications. So if you're a communications graduate, this is something for you. Translation, there is also what I would recommend from your end is to read specifically about each profile that you are interested in. So I can maybe show you later on. There is, if you go on the website and Google it and search for it, sorry, list of traineeship areas, the main programs. And there you will find detailed information about every profile. And this is very important because when you're applying to show that you already read on this and that you are familiar with these concepts already. Okay, so the overall procedure. So just going through it step by step, there's the application, which is open now until March 14. Please don't leave it to the last minute. It's still quite a long application and you need to dedicate time to it. After you submit your application, there will be a selection where they make sure that you are eligible. And after the shortlisting the best candidates. In this case, you will definitely have either an online interview or a phone interview with the DG that you have been successful with. And then after the interviews, you will get the traineeship offer. And then you would sign the agreement. So now we're going to go into them more specifically. So starting with the application procedure, I hope that you all have visited the website already and you know that you need to apply through the website by creating an account. And there you will have the application. The application, I will show it to you shortly. You can save it as you go along, you can edit it. It has different sections, so you don't have to do it all at one go. And I actually urge you to start, if you're planning to apply, start doing it bit by bit now and saving your progress and do not leave it for the last minute. So this is the application, how it looks after you've created your account. So eligibility, you need to fulfill that first. Traineeship preferences, which in my opinion is the most important part of your application. Personal information, skills, languages, and this is why I said earlier, the more the merrier, because the more languages you have, the better it is for you to be more likely selected as a shortlisted candidate. Education and training, so any relevant education and professional experience and a declaration. And you can, as you can see, you can click one by one and then go through it as need be. So something very important when you're applying for this specific traineeship, the council receives a large volume of applications. I think it's around 4,000 to 5,000 each round. And they specifically receive a lot of applications from what we call generalist backgrounds, so European studies, law, and those sorts of backgrounds. So keep in mind that if you're coming from this kind of background, for you it's a little bit more competitive. In the case of more unusual profiles, let's say engineering, communication, computer sciences, graphical design, human resources, these are what we call rarer profiles because they're not commonly associated immediately, for example, with EU. So these are also highly considered, and in fact, they have a they are also very attractive for when the council is selecting prospective trainees. So what's very important is irrespective of whether you have a generous profile and whether you have an unusual profile, make sure that your application stands out. These are ultimately people who are seeing your application, and if they continue to see repetitive things and not something that really strikes them as interesting, your application will probably missed. So this is what we're trying to help you out with today. So as I was saying earlier, the most important part is the traineeship preferences. Why? Because in the traineeship preference section, you need to choose your preferred area. So as you remember, I was showing you those profiles. Of those profiles, you need to select 2 areas which are most relevant to you. And then you need to provide 2 distinct motivational letters of why are you applying this and why you think you are a good candidate. So you really need to convince them here, because this will be your make or break opportunity. Now, some tips from our end. Keep it simple and informative. You only have 1,000 characters when it comes to filling in the preference section. And the more you can keep it simple and to the point, it is always much better. When choosing your profiles, you only have 2 to choose from, so be careful on what you choose. If you graduated in European Studies and your thesis was on a specific topic, let's say it was about China, then foreign affairs might be more of a strong suit rather than choosing HR. So try and link that. Or if, for example, you've worked in civil service on communications before, then that might be something more. Choosing a profile in communications might be more relevant to you. So try to link that as much as possible. It is very important to explain why it is interesting to you and what sets you apart from others. As I was saying, how you can be striking, your application can be striking. And give concrete examples. This is very important, because this will show that you can actually bring something new to the table, and it's not just words. So now we're going to see some examples. So for example, these are some good motivation letters. And as you see, for example, this is how to link your interest and motivation. So I'll take the first one. I believe that research and analytics team is especially exciting as it offers the chance to integrate my interdisciplinary academic background with my practical research and analytical skills. So you see how they're combining them all together. And then another example is, as someone deeply passionate about immigration and border security, I'm thrilled at the prospect of contributing to the Department of Home Affairs. So keeping it simple, but still showing that you are interested and very motivated to work there. How to link your studies and your relevant experience. For example, in this particular example, we have someone who explained how they used their methodological tools to research gained during their studies, they applied during a student job, and now they are showing how it can be relevant with this traineeship. So you see the link coming all together. And another one is also this one, valuable insights and listing specifically what you have learned and linking it to the work that the department already does, because this shows that you have done your research and that you can actually have some added value. Coming to the point of added value, again, this is what you can bring to the table. Again, this particular example, this person is saying, I can leverage my expertise in these areas to support the work that's already being done, confident in my ability to make meaningful contributions to the department's objectives. And also, you can see sort of the wording is very cohesive, very simple as well, not too bombastic either. So bringing it all together. Okay, some things to avoid, very important. Avoid cliches or being too vague. I don't know, statements as a European citizen, I'm eager to contribute, or that's something that they're not really looking for. Those are cliches that they're not particularly showing what you are capable of as a person. Make sure to check your spelling and grammar. So what I would recommend is, rather than typing directly, obviously, into the application, prepare a Word document, type there, and then copy the information that you have into the application. Makes it easier for you. and also make sure that everything is fine. If you have already applied for past traineeships, so let's say you applied for the European Commission and you had to prepare your motivational statements for that. Even though the area might be similar, please make sure to change them. Because even some things, there might be reference to DG or European Commission. It might be tricky. So you can use them, yes, why not? But make sure to adapt them and amend them accordingly, because they will know immediately that this actually is not relevant. Also, it is very important that for the first motivational statement, you don't copy it. You prepare another motivational statement. And this is particularly important because let's say the first profile you selected, they already found the relevant trainees, then they will need to select you for your second profile, which may not be your preferred one, your first preferred, still something that you would like, but it is still very important to have a good motivation so you can increase your chances of being selected. And so very important, as I was saying earlier, is the Council of the European Union and not the Council of Europe. Very simple mistake, yes, but it is important to avoid. Now, on the selection procedure, so as I was saying earlier, first they will check your eligibility. If you are eligible overall, then they will shortlist the best candidates. And then there will be an interview. In your case, since you are applying now, the interview is expected to be between April and June. And after the interview, if you are successful, you are provided with the offer. Now, it's very important that you have all your documents ready, etc., because as soon as they give you the offer and you agree, you will need to provide all the documents. So, as I'm saying, for the selection, make sure that anything is stated in the application form can be proven with official documents. So, for this, I like to bring the example of languages. So in Malta, many of us know how to speak Italian, for example, but we don't have a certificate to prove it. Just taking a very generic example. In that case, it is best if you do not state that you can speak Italian. And instead, if you have an O-level in French, and you might tell me I have done that O-level such a while ago, I don't remember as much, but that is better to have that because you have proof that you are actually qualified in that language. The same applies for any work experience. If you've done work experience, which cannot be proven with, I don't know, maybe a reference letter, an agreement or something of the sorts, then it is best not to list it because they might disqualify you on the basis of saying that you cheated, you lied on what was officially stated in your application. Very important, I would actually recommend you do not have to submit the documents once you apply now, but I highly encourage you that if you have some documents, start preparing them from now. Even if you apply for other traineeships, I know Blue Book traineeship is open, so if you apply for the Blue Book, for example, that you need to have all the documents ready, so it wouldn't hurt to start preparing them all together. And for the interview. Now, the interview will happen. So, as I said, it might happen between April and June. It might be that they don't call you in April and they call you in May because they selected you for your second preference, or there was another area which probably wasn't your first preference, but they still would like, they reached out to you. So my suggestion is once you receive the information for the phone or online interview, start preparing in terms of research. So first of all, read again what it said in the profile. So what they're looking for, etc., what the work includes, and all that. Research on the work that is being done at the moment. So there were council meetings and they were relevant to the area. So let's say enlargement. And there was recently a meeting on enlargement. Research that, know the conclusions, because they will know if you are actually knowledgeable or not. And this will set you apart from other people as well, because it shows that you are actually interested in the role. And a very important thing that we always say is, if the offer is not exactly what you wanted, don't turn it down immediately. Take some time, think it over, because if you turn it down immediately, You are refusing the traineeship altogether. And we don't recommend that because you've arrived to the final stages and then you are automatically declining to, to go any further. So we do not recommend that at all. Now, in terms of time frames, so we have the September traineeship in your case you will be applying for. So the application period is now. The selection, as I was saying, will be April to June. It might take a bit longer, so if they contact you in May or in June, don't worry, it's still fine. You still have plenty of time because traineeship starts in September to January. Okay, so yes, very important. As Adrian was telling us earlier, there are going to be more information webinars organized, and this time this is going to be directly from the council. There is one on the 27th of February next week and one on the 7th of March. As he was saying, there is no need to register, nothing, you just need to go on the website and just click join. I highly encourage you to attend, especially if you started writing your application, maybe you're not sure on certain things. They will be able to guide you a bit more specifically because, of course, they are the traineeship office of the council, so they are the ones taking care of it. And also, they might have some tips which are more specific. So, especially on the motivational statement, they might have some important tips on how to deal with it, etc. So I do encourage you, if you're interested in applying, to attend these sessions. Okay. I think that is all from my end. So James, before we pass on to you, I want to check if there are any questions, maybe. I will stop sharing for a minute. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, so Veronica, yes?
Sorry, I just wanted to ask about the offers. So let's say you get shortlisted, you get notified about that. How soon after you apply?
You will receive an email. I would need to check exactly when you would get the notification of when you were shortlisted. But if you go on the website and you check exactly the application process, you will be notified when. What's important is, so it's sometime in April. So of course, um,
Okay,
anytime from mid-April, I would say you can start expecting it.
mm,
Because March is too soon since the deadline for applications is 14th March. So April, May. As I said, don't be alarmed if you don't receive it immediately. Sometimes they have problems in the system, etc. So it might be best to do that. I think they also urge you to look at your spam because it might go there and you wouldn't know that you've been shortlisted. So these are specific tips that you can find on the council website. Don't know if you had
okay.
any more questions, Veronica.
Yes, I do have a few more. How long do you know whether how long we have to answer them? So if let's say you get an offer and you're waiting for some other offers and you want to see what's best for you, how long do you need to answer them or give them a yes or no, basically?
They would tell you from their end,
So
but
they will specify.
they
Okay.
would specify from their end, yes. And of course, and this is why I think it's very important to have your documents ready to secure your offer. You need to submit all the documents. So your degrees, any other certificates, work experience, and whatnot. And very important, even though you had the interview, this does not mean that you are guaranteed the offer. So do
Mhm.
not take it as a guarantee. So if you, for let's say you applied for the blue book, um, uh, do not take anything as final unless you have that email with the offer and with the traineeship agreement, because it's not guaranteed.
Okay, thank you. I also wanted to ask like a more specific question because now I'm currently studying not in Malta and I have a diploma like of my degree that they sent me by email, like a verified digital copy, but I didn't scan my transcripts and I don't know the next time when I'll be in Malta. and I don't have anyone who can access these transcripts who can send them to me. So do you think that's a big problem that I would apply with just like I received this degree without a list of the transcript and grades?
I think the transcript you can actually ask the University of Malta, so they can actually provide you with an official transcript, which is signed, and you can send sorry, stamped, and you can send someone to pick it up for you, for example, and then they can just scan it for you. I think that's all. Very shouldn't be a big problem. Plus, if you have your diploma already, the one that you got in November, biex niftehmu, um, then that should be fine. You don't need the official transcript fully, but of course, check what they sell, what they tell you with the offer. Because if they ask for a transcript, then yes, you would need it.
Okay.
Okay,
And repeating languages as well. Sorry, so many questions.
it's okay.
Um, in my case, for example, I have Maltese and English fluent, but in the case of other languages, I have an O level in Italian and Spanish, for example.
That's
Do you
fine.
think that's fine to specify by just sending the O level results?
Yes. That's more than enough.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's enough of proof that it would be like A1 or A2 level then, I
Yes,
expect.
yes, yes. As an A2 level and the O level certificate would be more than enough. They just need proof. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's all. All right.
Yes, that's all from my end for now. Thank
Okay,
you.
no problem. So I'm seeing some questions in the chat box. So do we need a certificate to prove our languages? Yes, you do. I think unless it's a native language, possibly you would still need for a native language, but in the case of the European Commission, I know that it's when it's a native language. In our case, for example, Maltese, you do not have to provide certification. But if it's English, then yes, you need to provide a certification which says your level is C2 level. Carla, I don't know if that answers your question. And then we have from Clemens. Clemens, I have to be honest with you. Usually we organize these sessions for Maltese candidates, so I cannot tell you exactly specifically as a French applicant. Um, so what I would suggest maybe is if you join the information session on the 27th of February with the council, you can maybe ask them there. But I know for sure that you can apply either in English or in French. So it's entirely up to you. But if you want to make sure of that, I would ask specifically the council. Okay? I don't know if there are any more questions or if there was anything unclear that you would like me to go over again. I don't have any problems. You're welcome. Okay, very good. I'm not seeing any more questions. Okay, very good. So from my end, I'm just going to leave our email address here. And if anyone has any questions, they can send them there. And in the meantime, I'm going to stop the recording so James can then continue from his end.